I'm Hal Byrd. Thanks for joining me today. Where to start? I created this channel with my husband, so you'll see myself and him on here a lot um, because we relocated just, 4 years ago. And at the time, we didn't know anyone here in Southwest Washington. I didn't turn off my notifications. We didn't have friends or family, any connections. We kind of looked around the country and decided to pick a place. At the time, we were working remotely with a company that we were building together, and we looked all over the country and just found this place and thought it was magical and visited, and that confirmed it. And so we really wanted to be that friend, that person on your initial search that would support you in your journey, whether that's the videos that we post. Maybe for some of you guys, they are inspiration. For others, they look at the videos and the way that we work and my personality and are like, that's who we want to work with when we buy in Southwest Washington or the Pacific Northwest. And so if that's you, welcome. Say hi in the comments. As you guys are watching this video, please give it a like. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Out of the total pie of people that watch my channel, only 20% subscribe. So I would love it if you would subscribe. It would mean the world to me. Cost you nothing, means so much to me in getting these videos out to more people, letting more people know about this gem that we have in Southwest Washington. So I won't go on too long. I'm gonna jump right in to talk about the top 5 reasons why I think you should reach out to me today if you are planning on relocating, whether you are a month away, some of you contact me a week away from being ready to relocate, or several months or even years away. I have people that have reached out to me that are like, I'm retiring in 5 years. And I absolutely love that because it really gives us an opportunity to get to know each other. So I guess the first thing I want to say about this video is that it's a little bit of a vulnerable experience because so many people watch me and comment about watching all of our videos, but I don't know you. I don't know anyone that's on the other side of the computer or cell phone or TV, wherever you're watching. As you guys are joining, please drop a like. And so it's great to get to know you guys and see. My husband and I have a 4-year plan to move over from Chicago. Margie, you are who this video is for. So that's amazing. Are you guys planning on retiring? Is that why you are waiting 4 years, or what's the story behind that? Let me know. If you're comfortable to share. If not, shoot me a text. My cell phone is 360-818-4438. You guys can always text me. Call is the fastest way to get in touch with me because I almost always answer my phone. But text is a little bit easier because I try not to answer the call when I'm in person with clients or trying to have some work-life balance, as we all struggle to do. But so let's talk about the 5 reasons why I think it's great to reach out to me, whether you're months or years away from relocating or moving. You might be moving from Portland to Vancouver. You might be moving from Vancouver to Camas or Washougal to Ridgefield. Wherever you're relocating to, it's all a relocation. You're relocating from one point in the world to another point in the world. So the first reason is I want to help you map out your relocation. So many people come to me and they're like, how do we do this? How do we do this process of owning here in whatever state and moving to Washington or to Oregon? Awesome. Oh God, not retirement. We have some schooling to complete and money to save, and my mom just got sick. So some things to figure out first. So I hope your mom comes out on the other side of her sickness healthy and well, and I will definitely say a prayer for her. Schooling is great. There's a lot of job opportunities in Southwest Washington, and I don't foresee that going anywhere. That's my clients texting me. They just flew into town today, and we're going to meet up this afternoon to see some houses and go wine tasting before Jarrett and I go out for a date tonight. So kind of a fun day for the rest of the afternoon. I've been studying, and thank you. Yeah, my pleasure. I really hope that it goes well. And you guys are moving from Chicago. I think there's good hospitals in Chicago. I would assume so. So hopefully everything goes well. So where were we? I want to help you map out your relocation. So how do you go from either owning or renting where you are to all of the timing and logistics that it takes? And in some ways, I mean, I've done it myself, and I help people every single month go through this process. So in some ways, I find that when I actually speak to someone and about what their plans are, it really helps to get clarity, because I can tell them, well, instead of trying to make this drive in one day, why don't you stop here and stay at an Airbnb overnight? What are you going to be traveling with? For instance, are you hiring movers? Are you getting a pod? Are you trailering your own belongings? Like, what are you doing in that way? And when does your house close, or when does the sale close of your house in the state that you're moving from? And maybe we can set up a closing to be either same day. We can do a simultaneous close, which I typically don't recommend. It's a little stressful. Or we can schedule the closing to be a few days after or a week after. And there's some really easy ways to go about doing that. So we can talk about those things. We can talk about what makes sense to move with, what doesn't, what you can buy here and where to get the best deals. So I'm always recommending furniture companies and where to find this particular item, whether you need to go into Portland for it, if it's a specialty item, like a client who just got a whole audio setup. He went into Portland for that. So I want to help you map out the logistics and understand where you're coming from. The other thing that I can do, so this is number 2, is make connections, both personal and professional. We had about 2 weeks ago a meetup with some of our clients and potential clients. So if you're going to be visiting, I might be having an event for my clients, and you can meet other people who have relocated. So I can make those personal connections. Or if you're someone who's into traditional tea, or you're into whiskey, or you're into, one of the many things, pickleball or something like that. I have clients that are interested in all those things, and so I can make personal connections for you and also professional connections. So I've referred my clients to people who work in companies that my prospective clients are trying to get into, and I already have clients that work in that company. So especially in healthcare makes it really easy. So if you're in healthcare, I have a ton of clients in the healthcare industry. Number 3 is I want to help you strategize the financial aspect. It's a little, surprising how many people contact me who have bought homes within the most recently, I had a client contact me who bought a home 3 months ago and is now ready to move. But 3 months would be the soonest that someone was ready to move. And then anywhere from, 3 years later, they haven't been in the house that long. But depending on how long you've owned the house, there can be tax implications. So I want to get you in touch with the right people to talk to about that. Some other financial aspects might be deciding on a down payment, whether that's, would you rather, kind of just having an ear to bounce off of someone who's in real estate. Is it better to take all of our equity and put it into our next house, or is it better to make a minimal down payment to get the monthly payment that we want and put some towards investments? So I want to talk to you about some of the financial aspects of moving and buying, especially when you're relocating. And then the 4th one, which is really a big benefit, is you want to be able to get your questions answered early, often, and in real time. We had a comment come in. Darcy says, "Hi Hal, thanks for this great info." And I lost the comments. How do I get them back? And streamlining the process for those of us out of state folks. I'm so happy to. I love doing it. This move has honestly, and when I say this move, 4 years ago, moving from my home state of California to Washington, and my husband, whose home state is Pennsylvania, who's lived in Georgia, almost lived in Florida, almost lived in Nevada, and we lived in California together for a time. For both of us, it has been so fulfilling and so life-changing in the best ways, like the best people that we've met, the relationships, the land. There's so many wonderful things that we found about living in Southwest Washington, and that may or may not be the case for you, which I guess is a kind of a bonus to add on to this, is that as I can answer your questions early and often and in real time as you have questions come up, because you can, if you reach out now, even if you're not moving for years, you could be like, you could ask me something like, well, what are the grocery stores like, and where do you shop, or have you ever had to deal with this, or do you know any resources for people who have any sort of challenges in life, whether that's physical, mental, emotional. I've helped look for psychiatrists for clients. I've helped look for day programs for a client who has an adult child that has special needs. So there's a lot of different things that can come up for your situation. And I like to make those, going back to those connections. But yeah, I love streamlining this process. So I also recently had someone ask me, uh, they had texted me and they were like, oh, are you still in Washington and do you still enjoy it? And I'm like, well, yeah, I still enjoy it. I'm making videos still about helping people relocate. And if I didn't enjoy it, I don't think I could do what I do in specializing in relocations. I don't think I could get on the internet and talk about it on a weekly basis. Practically on a daily basis over on Instagram. So if you're not following me on Instagram, I highly recommend that if you want to see more of our life and what we do and kind of behind the scenes, less formal videos, although this is pretty informal. Question, do you know anything about Ross Hours Market in Ridgefield? I do. That's Jarrett. He's watching from another location. And we just went there this week. We've driven by Ross Hours so many times, and I don't know if it's because I'm used to Freddy's or I like new seasons or just like the familiarity, which is another story that maybe Jarrett and I can share with you. But you know, I was like, oh, didn't really seem that interested in it, but I was at an inspection and it was a new construction and I had to go pee, and so I was like, let's go to the grocery store real quick so I can use the bathroom. And there you are. Thank you. And so we went to Ross Hours, and it was so nice in there. I was so impressed. The staff were really friendly. They have a huge vegan health food selection. So if you're looking for supplements, or if you're living in Ridgefield, now that I've been in there, seen the prices, I would say they're kind of like Safeway prices, which is, you know, not the most expensive, but not the cheapest either. But if you are looking at living in Ridgefield, I think that's a great place because you don't have to drive down to Salmon Creek to go to Fred Meyer's if you don't want to. Like Ross Hours has pretty much everything you could find at Fred Meyer, I would think. I mean, I saw things in there that I've never seen in Fred Meyer in the way of kombucha flavors and health products. So if that's something you're interested in, meaning Ridgefield, I would definitely recommend that. Is that what you wanted me to say, dear? Do you have anything to add?
It was just surprisingly nice. Like I would consider shopping there, not living in Ridgefield. I found it really nice.
Can you guys hear him? I'll be visiting solo for a day to explore Vancouver and scout the neighborhoods to see if it's right for my husband and I. You gave us your map, and I've been doing my research, so I have an idea. I actually need to add Ridgefield to my map tour, but if you're up in Salmon Creek and you want to go explore Ridgefield, it's like if you take my driving tour, it'll take you through Salmon Creek, it'll take you up through Philida, and then through Salmon Creek. I would hop on I-5, potential areas we're interested in. I would hop on I-5 and get off on Pioneer Street. You'll see there's like a roundabout there, bunch of new construction if you make a left at the first roundabout. If you keep going straight, you'll head into like the old town, downtown of Ridgefield, which is super cute. I really like it there. So I'd recommend that. How can I see the chat more readily? Yes, we can hear him. Okay, good. Okay, where are we at? So answering your questions early, often, and in real time. And the benefit of this too is that you can text me as you guys think of things. I guess we got on a little tangent with grocery stores. But you might find at the end of your exploration or your research that Vancouver, Southwest Washington, the Pacific Northwest in general, wherever, is not right for you. You might like Olympia better. You might like Spokane. You might want to move to Bend. Or, I mean, we looked at Tennessee, we looked at Texas, we looked at South Dakota, Idaho, briefly at Lake Tahoe. So we looked at a bunch of different places and ultimately came to the conclusion that none of those places were right for us. And it might be the case for you with Vancouver in that way. So if I can help you get your questions answered, for instance, with Margie, it may not make sense to make your plans around Vancouver for 4 years and then you come visit here in year 3 and you're like, oh, actually that's not the right place for us. Now we're back to the drawing board, but we just wasted the past 3 years thinking we were going to move to this place and actually we can't stand it. That might be your conclusion. So that's one reason to reach out. All of my contact information is in the description. My Instagram handle is Hal Byrd _. My phone number is 360-818-4438. If you must email me, it's hal.byrd@exprealty.com. Although I really do prefer text. I'm a little slower at getting back to emails. I think Ridgefield is a little further out than we want to be. We don't have kids and want to be closer to Portland, so maybe Ridgefield is worth the drive. I have a client who lives in Ridgefield and they commute into Portland. For them, they were really looking for a quiet community because of some of their health concerns. Being close to a highway would be too much of an irritant. And so Ridgefield, when they were actually there in person, gave them that feeling of, wow, I can't hear anything for the particular place they were looking at in Ridgefield. Obviously, you could be backed up to I-5 in Ridgefield too, but where they got the quiet that they were looking for. I would say that Ridgefield is also not as far out as people think it is. We drove from Ridgefield to downtown Vancouver recently. It took about 15 minutes, no more than 20. And Ridgefield is only 25 minutes from the PDX airport. And so if you're looking for something that's a little farther out, I think it's a good option. I personally feel it's going to be the new Camas. Just looking at some of the development that's going on there, it's a higher price point than Vancouver. Pretty much everywhere outside of Vancouver is higher priced. If you've spoken to me one-on-one, you might have heard me say this because I hear people say, well, if it's cheaper to live a little farther out from Vancouver, then I'm okay, being outside the city. The reality is actually we're one of the few areas I've ever seen in the country that's flip-flopped. It's cheaper to live in the city of Vancouver than it is to live in Camas, Washougal, Battleground, Ridgefield, which are the main cities surrounding Vancouver. All the other areas like Salmon Creek, Philida, Brush Prairie, Hawkinson, those are all unincorporated areas. But yeah, it's cheaper to live in Vancouver. So if you're weighing if you want to be closer to Portland and you don't specifically like Ridgefield and you would probably want to get a better value, bang for your buck, then the city of Vancouver is probably going to be a little bit better because the price point is lower, apples to apples. So that brings us to number 5. It's been really fun with you guys. And I almost don't want to leave, but we do have showings to get to. Number 5 is getting to know you. I have people send me photos of their dogs watching me on TV, or I've gotten pictures of shout out to my friends and clients in Alaska of me on their TV with the Alaskan mountains in the background, which is pretty incredible. I will answer your question, Darcy. But if you watch me, whether you've watched one video or a few, or if you've binged all of my videos, a lot of people feel like when they come to me, they feel like they know me. They've heard me talk, they know my personality, and probably some of the quirks that most people don't get to know, especially if you're just an acquaintance. Like, you guys really see me in my natural element. But I don't know you. And so one of the benefits of reaching out now is that I get to know you. I get to know what you're looking for. I can keep an eye out on things for you, or kind of let you know how the market is looking in that way. I have clients that are looking for bed and breakfasts. You can tell what's on my mind, bread and breakfast. I have clients that are looking for land, clients that are looking for, 4 bedrooms
Elevators.
with 3,500 plus square feet. I have clients that are looking for properties with elevators, which there are several, and they're not as expensive as you would think because it sounds like a very luxury item. And I have clients that paid significantly less than a luxury price to have an elevator in their house. So those are some of the things, like that you might have other specific needs. You might want to be within walking distance to a senior center, or to some sort of recreation center, like the Furstenberg Center in Vancouver is great. So those are some of the different things that you might need, and being able to get to know you is going to be a benefit to you ultimately, especially if you want to work together. So those are the 5 reasons. I want to be able to help you map out your relocation plan, get a game plan together. I want to help you make connections and strategize the financial aspect of it. I want to be able to answer your questions and get to know you. So feel free to reach out. My phone number is in the description. I did want to answer a question, so I'm going to hop off in a minute, but if you have any questions, drop them now. I believe it was Darcy asked, why is it that it's cheaper to live in Vancouver than the surrounding areas? And this is an interesting question. There's part of it, I would say, has to do with the culture here, in that I think people in the Pacific Northwest value their space. And depending on where you're looking, let's say you're looking in the outskirts of Ridgefield, it's easier to find acreage property in Ridgefield, which is still designated a USDA area. So you could literally get a USDA loan with 0% down, not being a veteran. You don't have to be a first-time home buyer. A USDA loan, 0% down on new construction in Ridgefield. Because it's such a small area, it qualifies for the USDA guidelines, but it's also been the fastest growing city in Washington in the past 2 years. So there's a lot of growth and new construction going on. I actually have a client closing this month in Ridgefield on new construction. Super cute house. I'm super excited for them, and I'm going to meet them for the first time next week. So part of it is the culture of people valuing being closer to nature, and when you get outside of the city, I think you have more opportunity to do that. You feel a little bit closer to nature. Like Battleground feels more like a small town. You don't have there's like feed stores in Battleground, and you can buy fresh eggs. Not that you can't do that in Vancouver, but it just, I don't know, Battleground, for instance, feels more of a country vibe to me. Washougal, for instance, there are several lots that are 5-acre parcels. I don't think they'll ever be able to be subdivided. And people value that. People value land, they value space, they value closeness to nature. So that's one reason. The other reason is Vancouver is an old town. I think it was incorporated in, now I want to Google it, 1865. When was Vancouver, Washington incorporated or founded? 1825. So older than even I thought. Under its new name, it becomes, so it was founded in 1825, incorporated in 1857. I'm going to read into that more. But because of that, the land went from being, in the olden days, like these wide swaths of huge properties, to basically getting subdivided over and over and over again. And even now, when you see new construction in Vancouver, it's typically people selling larger parcels of land. Maybe it was previously farmland, and they're putting new construction on it. Orchards is very prevalent in that way. And so I think that you kind of have this, it's kind of become like chopped up, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just not like some parts of Southern California or some parts of Texas or maybe even Florida, where you have these huge master planned communities where like everything looks picture perfect, and there's like the park in the center, and there's the shopping center that serves this massive subdivision of hundreds or thousands of homes. Vancouver really isn't like that. You have, I tell people, when you're driving through Vancouver, you could be going down a street and you could see an acre property with like a rundown shack on it, and you turn a corner and then there's a subdivision that was built in the 90s that might be well maintained, could not be well maintained, and then you turn the corner again and you have homes that were built in the past 3 years that are super close and on 3,000 square foot lots. So it's divided up in that way. And so I think it's harder sometimes to find, like I have clients that are looking for an acre property in the city limits of Vancouver, and it's been very challenging to find them not just the acre of property, but a house that they like on that property. So yeah, part culture and then part just the way that things have developed. Whereas if you look in Orchards, which is more of an unincorporated area, there's just it hadn't been so divided like that you might get bigger developments. Or like Prune Hill, you have several subdivisions in Prune Hill and Camas, but it feels a little bit more cohesive than some parts of Vancouver. Ridgefield feels, not Ridgefield, Washougal feels kind of like a mix, probably closer to Vancouver, but a little more with a rural twist on it. So, you've got the downtown area, some houses are closer together, then you have some subdivisions, and then as you go further out, like up Washougal River Road, you've got acreage property going out into the mountains. Part of Washougal is in Skamania County. It's divided between Clark and Skamania County, and it feels like you're in the forest, like you're in the woods, which is lovely if that's what you're looking for. Not everyone is. But I hope that answered your question. It's a little complex. It's a little counterintuitive, but when you look at the stats, that's what it comes down to. Last I looked, I don't want to misquote numbers, and it's not relevant for people that are going to be watching in a year from now, but if you want to know what the average price points are in each of those areas, Vancouver, Camas, Washougal, Ridgefield, Battleground, Salmon Creek, all the way up to like Woodland, Yakult. I don't have many people looking out in Yakult. Yeah, just text me and I can let you know what they look like today. Even if you're watching this, I don't know, in December, months and months from now, I can let you know what they are in real time. So I hope that answers all your questions. I'm going to check the chat one more time before I hop off. Thank you. My pleasure. I will ask one more time, drop a like on this video if you haven't. Let it be seen more by more people, and who knows, maybe your support of this channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing will end up with you moving here and you helped push this video out and you end up meeting your best friend from doing it. So it's funny the way the world works. But with that being said, I will hop off now. Wish me luck on my showings, and I will see you guys next time. Ciao.